This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we're going to be returning once again to r/TrueOffMyChest, a story dedicated to people writing stories and telling some things about themselves that they haven't really told anyone, and definitely not in person, and it should probably stay that way for a lot of these. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for £1 a month. That is as low as 25p per video, so please do consider that if you would like to get extra content. It really helps the channel out. Other than that, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? My wife is insane and it made us 185k. So I posted earlier about how much I love my wife, and I truly cannot emphasize that enough. My wife is such an amazing person, and she has had to overcome so much crazy shit in her life. The most heartbreaking thing anyone has ever said to me was when she once told me, "You're the only man in my life I've ever felt safe with." Anyway, when my wife and I first met, we fell in love so fast it was scary. But only 3 months after meeting, she came to me with an insane proposal. We had been discussing moving in together, and rather than renting a place, she asked me to buy a house with her. I was 23, just starting my career. I wasn't even thinking about buying a house, but she was so passionate about it. She had apparently been looking constantly at the market, and she found this foreclosed starter home, but couldn't quite afford it on her own. We had literally been together 3 months, and in most contexts, this just would have been a terrible and insane thing to do, but I was so in love with her, and she explained what a good investment it was so convincingly that I agreed. I put down 8k, she put down 12k, and we bought this place for 200k together. We got married 9 months after buying it, and had our first kid 12 months after that. Not only was this place our first home, we had many happy memories there, but we used it as a rental after getting a slightly bigger home, and it pretty much was what enabled us to afford childcare comfortably. We just sold it for 385k, 185k more than what we paid for it. It is entirely because of my wife that we did this. She is just so f***ing awesome, it's wild. I love to hear good stories. I genuinely wanted to open this one with a good, wholesome, nice story because hell yes. I do a lot of videos on are the straights okay, and you know, it can harm my view of humanity a little bit. So it's nice to see a post that's like, you know, maybe they are okay. Maybe there are some straights out there that are okay, you know? I love to see it. These kids are all right. I lied my way through a job interview, got hired, and now I'm in over my head, but no one seems to notice. I applied for a job I wasn't qualified for out of desperation. I'd been unemployed for 4 months, rent was due, and I was down my last $300. The job posting was looking for someone with 2 to 3 years experience in a field I had barely touched. I had none. So I googled some terminology, watched a few crash courses, and walked into the interview like I belonged there. I threw around a few buzzwords I barely understood and smiled a lot. Somehow, it worked. They offered me the job the next day. Now I've been working here for 3 weeks, and every day I feel like I'm walking on a tightrope. I have 20 tabs open at all times. ChatGPT, Reddit, Stack Overflow, YouTube tutorials, just to survive the day. What's crazy is no one has said anything. My manager compliments me, people come to me with questions. I'm scared they'll eventually realize I'm improvising everything. But at the same time, I'm learning fast. I've already automated part of my workflow. I fixed something yesterday that the team had been ignoring for months. I don't know if I'm still faking it or actually growing into it, but I've never been this motivated or scared in my life. Now, OP, you're probably never gonna see this video because that's just the way this is. My channel's not very big and this is a random post on Reddit. However, you're scared that you're not living up to the role and that you're not qualified, but you've already automated part of your workflow and you've already fixed an issue from before you started working there, and you've been there for 3 weeks. Like, you might not have been qualified for the role at the start, or you might not have felt that you were, but you are absolutely growing into this role and doing an amazing job at it already. So props to you. You've gotten into a job you didn't feel you were qualified for and you're nailing it. It really sounds like you're doing a good job, so keep it up and have a bit more faith in yourself. I bought my sister's wedding dress. My sister got married 4 years ago. She had her beautiful wedding dress made by a tailor she loved. Some months ago, she told us she'd put it on a second-hand website to sell it because she and her husband could use the money. I knew it obviously had a huge sentimental value. She even planned on having it shortened so she could wear it again for their anniversary. She was selling it reluctantly. I could see tears in her eyes when she told us. What she doesn't know is I created an account on the website and bought it anonymously. I had a bonus last month and I couldn't see a better way to spend my money. I plan on taking it to the tailor who made the dress, order the changes she wanted, thankfully we're the same size, and I want to gift it back to her for their anniversary in a few months. I love my sister. I hope it makes her happy. Edit to add. Some people are suggesting I don't make any changes to the dress. Thank you for your concern. However, my sister was in the process of having it shortened with her tailor anyway, but my brother-in-law had to stop working for a few months due to his health and money started getting a bit tight. That's why she had to sell it. She could no longer keep it and absolutely not pay for the changes. I've arranged with her tailor to resume the project as per my sister's wishes before she had to sell the dress. This is so wholesome. I wasn't expecting this to be like the wholesome series of True Off My Chests today, but this is just what a lovely sister this person is. You know, just the loveliest. Honestly, to be so kind to your sister, to pay for something like that. You know, she's selling her wedding dress, something that means so much because she needs the money. To secretly buy that from her with the intention of just giving it back to her so that she can have the money to get by and still have something that sentimental is just that. That's the kindest thing. A man at my wife's workplace has been sexually harassing her, but honestly, I feel like it's her fault. She's the one who chose to work from home. She knows how I feel about that ass. Had me in the first half. I really thought that this one was gonna go in a different direction, but I'm very much glad that it did not. God damn it, OP. My dad accidentally sexted me. He sent a message, "Can't wait to f*** that ass again, Kelly," which would be merely embarrassing if my mum's name is Kelly, but it isn't. It's my aunt's name. When I told him to check who he's messaging, he quickly told me that my mum sometimes roleplays as my aunt, said that he isn't cheating on her. I just don't know how to feel right now. There's a lot to this one. First of all, tell your mother. Honestly, tell your mother. If he's telling the truth, which would still be really fucking weird, you're gonna have an awkward conversation with your mother, but at the very least, you'll know that he was telling the truth. If he wasn't telling the truth, your mother deserves to know. And let's be real, that's a fucking lie. Who in their right mind would roleplay as their sister while sleeping with their husband? That's fucking weird. That's such a weird. It's a terrible lie to justify something like this. Talk to your mother about it. It's gonna be awkward either way, but it's gonna be much more awkward if you don't. She'll find out eventually anyway. Just talk to your mother. My daughter's friend called me dad. My daughter, Lily, 16 female, has a friend named Kiera, 16, turning 17 in 2 weeks. Usually, it's one of two situations. Either Kiera is at our house, or Lily is at hers. They are very close. Kiera lives with her grandparents because, from what I understand, her dad abused her physically and sexually. It's very sad. One day, Kiera was at our house while I was making dinner. She walked up to me and asked, "Hey, Dad, what are you making?" I looked at her and said, "Did you just call me Dad?" Kiera started crying and seemed really sad. I think it was a sweet moment, but now I feel really bad about it. Here is an update. I saw Kiera in the bathroom doing her makeup. Oh wait, is it Kira? Did they miss? They've changed the spelling. I woke up and said, "Hey Kiera, can we talk?" She said, "Yes." I looked at her and said, "I'm sorry for the way I reacted. I was just surprised. I love the fact that you called me Dad. You're kind of like a second daughter to me. I'm not offended and Lily isn't offended either." Kiera said, "My dad used to beat me, so I never really had a good father. My grandfather is very emotionally distant. You're the closest thing to a father I have." I gave her a hug and a kiss on the head. Then I took my girls to get ice cream. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's such a wholesome, lovely story. OP, I really hope that you make her feel wanted and loved. You know, I really hope that you can, even though you're not her dad, I really hope that you can help to fill in that part of her life that she's missing. And I hope you actually value her in that way. And I hope that you can make her feel valued, because clearly that is something she really needs. And clearly you're a wonderful person, because otherwise she wouldn't have made a slip like that. People that are abused abused, don't just make slip like that, you know? So clearly you have filled in that part of her life. And yeah, I'm sure, you know, to her, you feel like family. And I really hope that she feels like family to you as well, because it just seems like a really wonderful scenario, you know? Not wonderful, obviously, what happened to her, but wonderful that you're kind of able to build that family together, right? Because family isn't necessarily what you're born into. Family can absolutely be what you make of it. I pulled a gun on a gay teenager. My 6-year-old daughter kept telling me she would see a man sneak into the house sometimes. His entry points would be different every time. Sometimes it was a window, then the front door, then the back door, kitchen window, etc. She sees stuff that's not happening all the time, and this is what me and my wife chalked it up to. But that night, I thought I saw a figure walk by my window. I ignored it though, but then she ran into our room saying she saw a man from her window sneak into our son's 16 male room, and that it sounded like he was hurting our son. I grabbed my handgun and ran into my son's room to see a shirtless man with facial hair, pointed my gun at him, and yelled for him to get out. I flicked on the light to see a much younger than expected man, boy rather, with much less facial hair than the dark had led me to believe. I then looked over at my son, also shirtless, and he's completely horrified. Quickly, I realized what was going on and the distress my daughter thought her brother was in, and felt horrible. The boy ran past me and out the front door. My son hasn't looked at me, let alone said a single word to me since. I pulled a gun and threatened to kill a kid. I feel like shit. That's gonna make a really uncomfortable breakfast the next morning, isn't it? So OP also said, after someone asked, that they didn't know that their son was gay, but that it seems more obvious now that they do know. And look, OP, as this person also said, you just really need to let your son know that you accept and love him, right? That's what he needs right now. He might have wanted to come out on his own terms, you know, that's very normal. And unfortunately, he can't do that. So what you really need to do is basically let him know that it's okay. Let him know that he hasn't come out on his terms. It didn't go the way he might have wanted. And you know now, but you accept him. He's your son and you will love him regardless, because you've created a very awkward scenario where you've accidentally chased his partner out of the house with a gun without realizing. So you're gonna need to repair that. And I'm sure you'll be able to, because you know, accidents happen, these things happen, but you're gonna need to. But that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. It helps so much, and it means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. If you guys do support me either by YouTube members or Patreon, you get an extra video every single week, and that's for as low as £1 a month. So that's basically 25p per video. So please do consider it if that is something you are interested in. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.